Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Just look what we have for you today. This is one very good looking Seiko watch. Seiko are one of those brands who every so often knocks it out the park, and I think they've done a real cracking job on this one. Yes, it's part of the regular 1965 range, part of its Prospex, but this is a European limited edition model. Now, there is only going to be 1,000 of these pieces available. I'm going to be quite interested to see how quickly they sell, because I really think this one is a very good looking watch. Plus, it kind of, what shall we say? I wouldn't say fixes as such, but there have been some criticisms on the old watch, and this, well, especially one, and this one has done away with that. So I think this will appeal to possibly more people. But before we get into this review proper, I've got to say a massive thank you to the team over at First Class Watches of Kenilworth. They're superstars. I can't explain it, go any further than that. They are really, really good. Great to deal with. All very friendly. If you go into the shop, you can chat away to your heart's content. They're really, really good there. Strongly recommend popping in if you're in the Kenilworth area. If you're not, well, don't worry, because I'll leave a link in the description below and at the bottom of the page. All I ask is that you do mention the channel, please. So let's talk sizes first. We are talking a 40.5mm case size. The thickness, contrary to their 13.2 they state, is almost 14mm, but say 13.9mm. And the lug-to-lug, so the longest point across the watch, is 47.5, and the bracelet size on this is 20mm. Now, first things first, it's the dial. The dial on this watch is absolutely gorgeous. Not only do we have this beautiful graduation from a rich dark blue up to almost coming on for white at the very top, but we have this very nice textured work going on there, which seems to give it a little bit more kind of contrast across the dial, because every so often you'll catch a one point in shadow, the other point in light. It really, really, I think, is a very striking dial. And one of the big differences with this, with the other 1965 models I've reviewed before, is they've gone with the standard date window over here at 3 o'clock. And that's not the only other thing. There isn't something else we'll talk about in a minute. So the dial is just lovely. You have these applied hour markers going on here. Now, as you can imagine, this watch, being a diver from Seiko, the loom is lovely. It's really spot on. Now, once we go past that though, we've got these really cool hands. We have this white second hand here with the loom plot up there, but then we have these cool hands which have got that chamfer going on in the middle. So you got high point in the middle on the hour hand. One side is polished, one side is brushed, and then you've got a similar affair on the minute hand as well. Again, what this does is gives it a little bit more depth. If that was just a flat hand, polished or brushed, it would only have one dimension to it. By having this, it gives it a little bit more kind of it just makes it look that little bit cooler. Gives it it looks like there's been more expense gone into those hands than many other hands out there. So overall, I do really like the dial. I think I almost would have been happier though if they'd have just left the X on there and got rid of all that lot. The automatic, do you really need to know it's automatic? I think we can probably gather that. And the Diver 200. Now, this does have 200 meters of water resistant, which I suppose, do you really need to know that? You'd know that on the back anyway. So anyway, as we go past that, we are greeted with a nice curved sapphire crystal on there. Now, there is AR coating on this watch, and it is on, I believe it's on the inner side, so you're not going to have any problems about marking it. But it does have, as we go past that, this bezel. Now, the bezel insert looks like, don't believe it's a sapphire bezel insert, so you'd have to be a little bit careful on these, because these can scratch and it can be a bit of a pain. But this has been going now for a few years on the, technically what's known as, broad term, the MM200 range. So, but it is a very nice looking bezel insert. Let's have a listen to the actual action. It's quite nice actually. It's a little bit muted, but it's nice. Is there back play? Yeah, little bit of back play, but to be fair, nothing too excessive. But most importantly, being that it is a Seiko, does it actually line up? Yeah, it does. It does actually. So, you know, that's always, you know, it hasn't always been the case on Seiko, let's put it this way. It does have a coin edge bezel on there, very easy to purchase. It's got a nice feel to it. The case itself, now this case design I think is just really, really nice. I love that you get this nice chamfer running along there. It catches a light, it gives it a more premium look. You do have this very nice brushwork going on here, and I like the way they chamfer at the bottom, because as I said, this is almost a 14mm watch. It doesn't look it, and that is all due to design. You can make things just by, you know, messing around with surfaces. You can make them look a lot thinner than they actually are, and that's what they've done here. They've done a really stellar job of it. I like the fact that it does have drilled lugs, as we'll talk about what accessory comes with this watch in a bit. Now, the way it blends into the case there, it does look quite nice. You do see a little bit of a flat case, but I like they have put the angles on here. Looks far better than the MM300 ever has, even the latest model about to be released. They've integrated the design into the end links. Now, over on this side, we do have an unsigned crown, which I actually quite like, to be fair. Right? Now, being it's a diver, screw down crown, a little bit tight at the end there, but as you can see, it does go in. One thing I would say, being that it is a diver, I am surprised they've left the crown quite so prominent, because it is a nice chunky crown. It's easy to, you know, to manipulate and hold, but that's partly due to the fact that it has no crown guards. So, you know, horses for courses on that one. Now, as we flick the watch over, we are greeted with a solid case back. This has got a proper screwed in case back here. Now, as I say, they're all numbered up, and underneath there, this is another thing which is slightly different, because one of the last ones I reviewed had the Seiko 6R55 movement in it, but this has gone with the older 635. Now, the whole reason they swapped over is that this has got approximately 70 hours of power reserve, and the other one they say has got approximately 72, so hasn't quite got the full 3 days. But come on, you know, how often do you take your watch off for 3 days if you can't, you know, set your watch, and what's the point? The actual timekeeping of this, I did put it on the chronograph. It was working out round about +6, I'm going to say, because I left it on a little bit longer after I filmed it, and it went up a little bit higher. So it is what it is. To be fair, it's a brand new watch out of the box, so, you know, that might be a little bit better after time. So, yeah, it's one of those things that hasn't really been allowed to spread around properly. So the bracelet itself, we do have a nice, yeah, kind of good looking bracelet on here. It looks like, I'm guessing, a pin and collar system, being but it is a dive watch. The clasp has got a good amount of adjustment on there. If I pull this, you have to press both of these to release it, and there you go. It is a nice clasp, to be fair. What I like about this is it's slim. There is a lot to be said for having a slim bracelet clasp, as I've mentioned in a previous video. So anyway, but if we open it, it does have the standard dive link extension on there, which is sometimes a bit of a pain. No, there you go. This one opened nicely, and that's your extension piece there. Not really sure if anyone has ever used one of these, but it's the same across the board. And to close it, you hook it round like that, hold it taut, and press. Simple. But one of the cool things with this watch is not only do you get this bracelet, you also get this very cool white, believe it's silicone band, which also comes with it. Now, let me just take this off there. This, I think, would look great on this watch. I think this would be a very cool thing to wear in the summer, wearing it on the white. Now, this also has the actual inserts in there, which stops the end link from compressing on itself, you know, the actual hole. This, I think, is a very nice looking strap. Comes with the Seiko hardware. Yeah, it does have a signed buckle on there. That is underneath. So overall, I think it looks really, really quite pretty. Let me zoom out and we'll have a look at it on my wrist. Quick wrist check. I'm wearing a Rolex Kermit, and Bob has got on what I think is a very classy, cool Rado. I have a bit of a soft spot for that one. Now, my wrist size is 7¼ inches, which equates to roughly about 18.5 centimeters. Let me just put this on. Now, the bracelet is at its absolute maximal, and look at that. Even if you're an ogre with an 8, possibly even an 8.5 inch wrist, I reckon you could probably get that to fit. So, yep, there are some people out there who have that kind of size wrist. They could fit on this watch. Now, just look at it. I really do think these are very, very good looking watches. Let me know in the comments below if it's something you'd fancy, or what you think of it, and I'll always try and get back to you. But to be fair, the channel's grown and it's getting a lot harder to find the time to get back to every single comment, but I will try my hardest. Okay, all the best, guys, and most importantly, stay safe up there. Bye.